Hey everyone, and welcome to Alchemistry, your forge for masculine excellence. Today, we're diving deep into what truly drives women wild for you. This isn't just a list of tricks, but a profound exploration of 10 traits that, according to the timeless principles of strategy and influence, transform an ordinary man into a genuine obsession. Get ready, you who seek to master the art of influence and unveil the alchemist within, to discover the secrets of a magnetic and unforgettable presence. A subtle alchemy that engraves your essence into the mind of those you meet. The alchemy of obsession. The 10 traits that captivate the feminine mind. My fellow alchemists, there's a fundamental, almost archaic distinction between men. On one side, those who exhaust themselves constantly seeking approval, craving validation and recognition in every interaction, draining their energy in this relentless pursuit. On the other, there are those who, by their mere existence, their way of being, ignite a true obsession, a profound fascination that transcends understanding. This difference, as you already know deep in your soul, resides neither in superficial physical beauty, nor in ostentatious material wealth, nor even in a forced charisma that rings hollow. No, it lies in a strategic presence, a silent power that unfolds without fanfare, and an unyielding emotional control. Because, as Machiavelli, that master of cunning and influence whom we often draw inspiration from here at Alchemistry, so aptly put it, true power is not begged for. It is imposed, unfolding with a disconcerting subtlety, engraving itself in the mind long before it's consciously perceived. This is the alchemist's art, transforming lead into gold through self-mastery. This profound reflection naturally leads us to the first pillar of this masculine alchemy, a trait so potent it's the cornerstone of all the rest. Unwavering emotional control. Think about it for a moment, you who aspire to excellence. Women aren't obsessed with the man who talks the most, who spills all his emotions onto the table, or who gives himself completely without reserve, risking depletion. No, obsession is born for the man who remains anchored, unshakable, who doesn't lose his composure when the world around him or the interaction itself threatens to crumble. We live in an era where the trend is total self-exposure, where many believe that expressing every anxiety, every desire, every need to reassure the other is the path to connection. But this excessive transparency, far from igniting desire or obsession, breeds familiarity. A comfortable familiarity, yes, but one that paradoxically can leave a woman at ease with you, while pushing her to fantasize about the unknown, about the man who remains an enigma. He who masters his emotions masters others without them perceiving it, Machiavelli asserted with brutal clarity. And this is a truth that resonates even more strongly today, in an age of hypersensitivity and reactivity. Your ability to remain calm, to observe without reacting impulsively, to maintain serene firmness in the face of another's emotional storm, or life's challenges, that's what will drive her wild. When an argument escalates, you don't join her in that infernal spiral. When she throws jabs, you don't fall into the trap of justification or counterattack. When chaos reigns, you don't flee. On the contrary, you silently take the reins, with a calm and unquestionable authority. Why this reaction? Because at the precise moment of tension, she realizes you're not like the other men she's known. She's met those who cry not to be left, who collapse at the slightest distance, who scream and beg. And then there's you, silent, observant, always present, even when the tumult is at its peak. She senses your intensity, that quiet strength, but she can't predict you. She doesn't know if you'll react, if you'll leave, or if you'll maintain your calm until she breaks down herself. This kind of man isn't forgotten, for he activates something very powerful in her mind. The unanswered question, that unfathomable mystery. Didn't he lose his cool? Was he truly indifferent? Her emotional control becomes her own inner chaos, an enigma she strives to solve. Every time you don't react as she expects, she rethinks it. Every time you don't justify yourself, she remains in doubt. Every time you stay centered and unshakable, she imagines you stronger, more solid, more masculine, endowed with a depth she cannot fathom. Beware, this mastery, this alchemy of emotion, doesn't mean being cold or devoid of feelings. It means having emotions, yes, but taming them, refining them, not reacting to them like a child, having power without using it to hurt. This is what we call true masculine presence in a world of broken, desperate men craving to please. This emotional stability, this ability to be a rock, opens the door to the second fundamental trait for every self-alchemist: captivating mystery. It's not about obvious beauty or ostentatious charisma, but about what you subtly say, and more importantly, what you choose to keep silent. It's the art of the ineffable, the very essence of mystery, a skill we cultivate here at Alchemistry. Machiavelli understood this well when he stated, "Men should seem approachable, but never predictable." The key is there, in that delightful tension. You're not an insoluble, impenetrable puzzle, but neither are you an open book, whose every chapter can be guessed after a few pages. You don't reveal everything about yourself. When you speak, you deliberately leave gaps. Silence is loaded with meaning. When you tell a story, you pause, allowing the other's imagination to work. When she wants to know more, when she tries to figure you out, you elegantly change the subject. You don't flee, you don't lie, you simply give what's necessary, nothing more. And for a feminine mind, eager for details, interpretations, and connections, this is emotional dynamite. Why? Because it ignites her imagination in the most powerful way possible. She begins to invent stories about you, to fill the empty spaces in your narrative, to search for patterns, hidden meanings, secret reasons for your silences. Above all, when she doesn't have all the answers, when she can't categorize you, she starts mentally pursuing you. Who are you really? Why don't you open up like others? What do you think about when you're silent? Where are you writing to? Why didn't you tell me everything? This is how she emotionally connects with you, without you having to lift a finger. While other men pour out paragraphs to explain themselves, you drop an ambiguous sentence and let her ponder it all night. While others rush to tell their whole story, you let her discover you chapter by chapter. She wants to predict you, but she can't. She wants to categorize you, but you don't fit into any box, and that's what drives her crazy. Being mysterious doesn't mean lying or playing games. It means having an identity so solid that you don't need the validation of being 100% understood. Your silence communicates. Your gestures speak louder than your words. Mystery isn't forced. It's cultivated with style, with pauses, with intelligence. A woman can be attached to a good man, but she obsesses over the one she can't completely decipher. She needs clues, not confessions. Intimate moments, not overexposure. Emotional tension, not constant comfort. This is where, my brothers of alchemistry, you become unforgettable. This mystery, this quiet strength that we learn to forge, is reinforced by the third trait. It's often overlooked by most men. Your ability to maintain an unshakable emotional frame, especially when surrounded by others. What truly makes an impression on her isn't just your behavior in private, in the intimacy of your connection, but how you conduct yourself in front of others. A man who commands the energy of a room without saying a word, who doesn't need to shout to be noticed, who remains firm and centered in the heart of social attention. That's the kind of man a woman cannot forget. Nothing reveals a man's character better than the way he acts under the gaze of others, Machiavelli stated, and this truth is timeless and brutal. It's a test of character. You might be the most attentive in a one-on-one setting, sending reassuring texts, but if in public you falter, become complacent. Apologize without reason, or desperately seek social validation from others, she'll sense it. And all the mystery, all the power, all the tension you've built will crumble in an instant. Imagine these everyday scenarios. You're at a gathering with friends. Someone contradicts you or challenges you. Do you react impulsively, getting defensive? Or do you simply smile? Maintaining your composure with class, unshakable? You're walking down the street and another man gives you a challenging look. You feel disturbed? Or do you elegantly ignore him, knowing that true power has nothing to prove to anyone? Your partner observes everything, every micro-expression, every reaction, and in her mind, without a word, she evaluates. Is this man emotionally stable? A rock I can lean on? Or is he just another one who crumbles under external pressure? A woman obsesses over the man who doesn't waver in the face of the unpredictable, doesn't change his tone, posture, or energy due to external factors, who remains solid as a rock in the heart of social chaos. Because this conveys a profound sense of protection, innate leadership, self-mastery that are irresistibly addictive to the feminine. She wants to see how you handle attention, how you react when provoked, how you maintain your frame even when others try to destabilize you. Even better, she wants to see how you treat others without seeking to please. Because when a man is as firm with his partner as he is with anyone else, it proves that his center doesn't depend on the context or the person. Speak less, feel more, observe intensely, be selective with your words, and never try to impress. Let your presence speak for you. The kind of man remains etched in memory. This type of man, even silent, fills the space with a natural authority. He doesn't need to demonstrate his power because he radiates it. For an emotionally astute woman, this is magnetic. This strength of character, this ability to project an aura of mastery even in silence, inevitably leads us to the fourth trait, one of the deepest truths of masculine-feminine dynamics. A key concept we explore in depth at Alchemistry. Your ability to maintain your masculine polarity even during moments of intense emotion. Imagine this scenario, so frequent in relationships. She's upset, sensitive, explosive, caught in her own emotional chaos, sometimes expressing strong and disordered emotions. Most men react in one of two ways. They either panic and turn and engage in the argument, losing their center and adding to the confusion, or they freeze and emotionally disconnect, leaving a void that amplifies her feeling of isolation. Both responses are mediocre, generating more frustration than anything else, and they shatter polarity. But the man who, for his part, remains calm, who breathes deeply, who listens attentively without losing his center, who maintains his stable and masculine tone, posture, and energy, that man not only earns profound respect, but also unprecedented emotional access to her soul. Why? Because she perceives that she can express her wild, uncertain, vulnerable, and sometimes even irrational side without you crumbling, without you needing to correct or fix her, without you judging her. You are simply there, present, unshakable, virile, offering a safe space for her emotions. This tension, this polarity, activates her most primal instinct, the one that seeks security and strength. It provides her with an absolute sense of protection and, paradoxically, a challenge. She knows she cannot move you at will, that she cannot emotionally manipulate or destabilize you. And here's the Machiavellian trick, full of power and alchemical subtlety. When you don't yield your center, when she cannot emotionally control you, when your masculine energy remains intact in the face of her turbulence, she invests more emotions, subtle efforts, to gain your validation in this without a word from you. She wants to feel that you are capable of supporting her. Not in the eye of her own emotional hurricane, you are the immovable mountain, the unshakable anchor. She wants to know that even in the face of tears, screams, or heavy silences, you don't lose your bearing, that you remain the captain of your own ship. This is not coldness, my friends. Make no mistake. Coldness is disconnection, absence of empathy. Polarity is directed connection, the ability to be present without being reactive, to support her energy without absorbing it and letting yourself be overwhelmed. And the more you do this, the more she lowers her guard, the more she surrenders with confidence, because her nervous system instinctively regulates itself in contact with yours. What is inner chaos for her? For you is just a wave that you know how to surf with mastery, and that deep down marks her forever, engraving your essence into her mind, she tells herself. This man not only listens to me, understands me without judging me, but he supports me, doesn't follow my own emotional game. He transcends it with his quiet strength. And that kind of man, dear explorers of alchemistry, is not found every day. When a woman truly experiences this, she doesn't let go easily, because most men are reactive, weak, or submissive, or they need to understand and fix her so they don't feel threatened. You don't need to understand or fix. You're simply there, with a presence so firm that even her chaos calms in your presence. This is controlled polarity. It is emotional mastery. It is what Machiavelli insinuated when speaking of governing by presence rather than by words. And it is this that creates the emotional tension she cannot ignore or forget. This strength of character, this ability to project an aura of mastery, even in silence, naturally leads us to the fifth trait, a subtle yet immensely powerful truth, impactful silent presence. This is a lesson every alchemist must learn. A man who doesn't need to speak to be heard, whose mere presence is enough to fill a space with quiet authority, with palpable energy, is incredibly magnetic. He doesn't try to impress with empty words or grand gestures. He simply radiates a calm confidence, an intensity felt even in the most complete silence. Your silence can say more than 1,000 words. It can communicate a depth and strength that words alone could never express. An emotionally astute woman, one who is connected to her intuition, will sense this unexpressed power, this latent force emanating from you effortlessly. You don't participate in the race to be the funniest, to have the best anecdote, or to be the most extroverted and the center of attention. No, you remain calm. You don't compete. You don't need to win any social competition because you know that true value doesn't lie in pleasing at all costs, but in maintaining your unshakable center, no matter the audience. This is the image she takes home. A man who isn't swayed by external opinions, who has nothing to prove, and who remains identical, integral, with her, with others, and most importantly, with himself. This man is rare, my friends at Alchemistry, and what is rare, mysterious, and emotionally impenetrable becomes an obsession. The sixth pillar, essential to this masculine alchemy and to your personal evolution, is your unnegotiable independence. This is a universal truth. Women are naturally drawn to men who don't need them to feel complete, to be happy, to find their way in life. Your happiness, your personal fulfillment, your direction in life should never depend on her presence, her validation, or her mood. When you embody this self-sufficiency, this intrinsic completeness that radiates from within, you project a strength and self-reliance that are intrinsically and profoundly attractive. She won't feel responsible for your emotional well-being, your personal satisfaction, your reason for being. And, paradoxically, this lack of need, this inner freedom, will, by a natural and profound attraction, compel her to want to be part of your world, your life that is already rich, balanced, and full of meaning. It's a freedom that attracts the most authentic connection. This independence isn't a matter of chance, but often the manifestation of the seventh trait, which we cultivate here at Alchemistry, a clarity of purpose and subtle ambition. A man with a clear vision for his future, with well-defined goals that propel him forward, and a quiet, unassuming ambition is deeply inspiring. You don't need to proclaim your past successes or future projects at every turn to boast or try to impress with words. Your energy, your focus, your quiet determination, and your discreet yet consistent progress speak for themselves, much louder than any speech. Women are drawn to direction, to someone who knows where he's going, and who strives to get there with integrity and perseverance. This determination is a profound sign of strength, reliability, and the ability to build a solid future, not just for yourself, but potentially for her as well. It's the promise of a life built with intention and vision, a life one wants to explore by your side. The eighth trait, fundamental to the forge of Alchemistry and to anyone who wishes to be a man of influence, is unshakable self-respect. This is a simple truth, yet of immense power. If you don't respect yourself, your boundaries, your time, your values, your energy, your deep convictions, no one else will, and certainly not the woman you desire. This self-respect manifests in concrete actions, not in mere empty words. It means being able to say no firmly and respectfully when something doesn't suit you. To walk away if your boundaries are repeatedly and irreversibly crossed. And never to demean yourself or compromise your fundamental principles to please anyone. She will carefully observe if you allow yourself to be walked over, if you sacrifice your deepest convictions, or if you apologize without valid reason. A man who respects himself unconditionally, who knows his worth and acts accordingly, radiates an aura of integrity, dignity, and inherent value that is irresistible and profoundly reassuring. This is the foundation of any healthy and respectful relationship. This self-respect nurtures and strengthens the ninth trait, an attribute every man should aim to master: unasserted confidence. True confidence, the kind that attracts and obsesses, doesn't shout, it doesn't boast about its achievements, it doesn't need to prove its worth at every moment or seek external approval. It manifests in an upright and relaxed posture, a direct and calm gaze, a measured and poised voice, and above all, an ability to be perfectly at ease in one's own silence, in one's deep being. A woman, through her sharpened intuition, immediately perceives whether your confidence is authentic, rooted in solid self-esteem, or if it's just a fragile facade built to impress. When it's authentic, she is irresistibly drawn to that inner stability, to that quiet certainty that requires no external validation. She wants to be around someone who is sure of himself, because it provides her with a profound sense of security, calm, and the freedom to be herself without pressure or the need to manage your insecurities. It is the confidence that demands nothing but gives everything. Finally, the 10th trait, and perhaps the most subtle. The finishing touch to this alchemy that makes you an unforgettable man. The art of not trying. This is a lesson many men struggle to master, blinded by the need to do. Men who try too hard to please, to entertain at all costs, to put on a show to gain attention, paradoxically lose their magnetism. Obsession, the real kind, the one that etches you into her mind, doesn't come from incessant compliments, nor from excessive efforts to entertain her, nor from desperate attempts to conquer her through external means. It arises from your intrinsic energy, your authentic presence, your self-control, and your ability to not depend on her approval to feel complete. You're not there to please at all costs. You're there to be chosen, naturally, because she will instinctively feel your strength, your worth, and the balance of your being. This is the essence of alchemistry, transforming the ordinary into gold, refining your being to reveal your latent power, and moving from the need to chase love to the ability to evoke it through your simple, powerful presence. If you're ready to embody this true power, to transform your being to attract rather than chase, then join our community. Subscribe to Alchemistry and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next explorations. Soon, I'll unveil an exclusive project, a deep and transformative training designed to help you master these principles. Integrate them into your essence and become the unforgettable man you are destined to be. What did you think of these traits? This exploration of principles inspired by Machiavelli's teachings and adapted for the modern man. Which one resonates most deeply with you? Which challenges you the most on your own journey as an alchemist? Leave a comment below and let's share our reflections. Your opinion is valuable to our growing community of mystery unrailers.